Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about making lasagna. So I'm going to show you how. So the recipe that I'm going to use, I'm going to make my own tomato sauce, but I'm going to make a fast tomato sauce. So it's not my usual spaghetti sauce that works in, it takes me days to make. This one is just a quick one. It'll take me about a half an hour to make it, and then I can use it right away. Now I'm also going to cook the meat that I'm going to use in the lasagna in the sauce, so it adds extra flavor to the sauce and also to the meat. So come on over here. First thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven, because I'm going to set my oven at 350 degrees. Okay, it takes a while to get there. Now I've already kind of started setting things up a little bit. I have my ricotta cheese for the filling, okay? I have my sausage for the sauce. This is just sweet Italian sausage. What I do is I buy it like ground beef, and I do that because I don't need the sausage casing, the middle, the outside of the sausage in the sauce. I want this to be easy to eat because I don't want big medallions or hunks of sausage just in the sauce. So I have that separately. I'm going to put an onion, a pepper, which this pepper, by the way, I had previously used and I froze it, and now it's still got a little ice crystals on it from defrosting. Now I'm going to cut that up and put it into the sauce. There's no reason for that. I'm going to put some garlic in the sauce. This is a head of garlic. I'm only going to use a few cloves, and when you do that, you just pick off a clove and then you unpeel it, and it looks like this. And then I have some spices that I'm going to use. Onion powder, garlic powder. I'm going to use some basil and some oregano. Now, if you want this to be a spicy lasagna, which some of you might want, then you're going to need red pepper flakes. And believe me, one or two red pepper flakes is all you need, because it will, as it cooks and sits in it, it will give off some heat. So I also have just regular tomato sauce. This is nothing special. You know, this is like a larger version of what you would put in your arroz con gandules when you make your rice. I have salt and black pepper. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish cutting up my pepper, and I'm just doing a quick dice because this pepper is going to disappear when I cook it. Now, I have to be totally honest with you guys. I do not like pepper. I would leave this out if I could, but I need it in the sauce. It will help round out the flavor of the sauce. It'll make it taste better. Oh, you know what I forgot to grab? Is olive oil. We need a tiny little bit of olive oil in the pan to help saute everything together. Okay, let me grab that. I have it right here. Ta-da! Olive oil, okay? I like to use olive oil because I like the flavor and the health aspect of it, but you can use any oil that you want. Also, Italians use olive oil, and I'm making an Italian dish, so why not do what they do? Okay, so let me put just a tiny little bit of olive oil. Did you see how much I put in there? It was probably less than a tablespoon. So 2 teaspoons is what I put in there. I'm also going to turn my burner on, and I'm going to put it at medium heat. I'll put that there. Okay, now while that's heating up, I'm going to finish with my onion. So I'm going to quickly peel the onion. And you know what I forgot to set up? I forgot to set up my waste bin, because this onion is nasty. Well, actually, just the outside of the onion is nasty, so I'm just going to peel all that off and use what's underneath, because that'll be fine. Oh yeah, that's a nasty looking onion. You know what? I got to rinse that off. I'll be right back. I'm going to rinse this onion off. I don't like the way that is. That's better. Ta-da! Okay, so remember, when you cut an onion, first thing you want to do is cut the ends off to make them flat, so you have a flat surface. Then you want to cut it lengthwise down the middle, and then you're going to cut it horizontally across, but not go all the way through. And then you're also going to cut it vertically, but not all the way through. And then using the claw, you're going to cut it into chunks. And I have this end piece that needs just a little extra work. Ta-da! I'm going to do the same thing on this piece, across horizontally. This is a larger piece, so I'm going to go twice horizontally. And then I go down, not all the way through though. And then my claw. Done. Okay, when I scrape up my onion to put it in my bowl, I want to use the back end of the knife. I don't want to scrape it up with the front end of the knife because that will damage the blade. So I leave the nice sharp blade on the outside and I do it that way. All right, there we go. Now the last thing I want to put into my little vegetable mix is garlic. So I'm going to use a garlic press, put my piece of garlic in, and look. Voila, out it squirts. And then what I do is I just take this little handy thing and I just dump it right into there. Ta-da! All right, so now here goes the meat into the olive oil. Now I didn't actually need to put olive oil on there because the sausage has a lot of fat. All this white part here, grab some of it. The white flecks there, that's all fat, okay? Sausage is very fatty. It's made with pork and it's got a lot of fat in there. So, as the heat is applied to the meat, that fat is going to melt. So you have to remember that when you are cooking, that the fat is going to melt. All right, so here we go. Now I want to, because I'm making this really fast and not letting it cook all day the way I usually do with my spaghetti sauce, I want to make, the first thing I want to do is make sure that this meat is cooked thoroughly. So I'm kind of chopping it up a little bit so that it's smaller hunks of meat. All right, and then I'm going to start with the rest of the ingredients that need to go into this. Did I mention this is the sauce? I think I did. All right, so I'm getting this sauce all, yes. Get that meat. I like the meat kind of in pieces. I don't like big hunks of meat in my sauce. Some people do. And again, when you make it, you can do what you like. All right, so here is my vegetable mix. It's got the garlic, the pepper, and the onion in there. I'm gonna put this in here, okay? Because I want this to start cooking too, okay? Now I'm gonna let this stuff cook for a little bit until the sausage is cooked all the way. Put my dirty pan over there, and some of my garbage I'm going to put in the dirty pan to keep my work area nice and clean. And now I need to make my adobo. I don't like using store-bought adobo because they put monosodium glutamate into it, and that is a chemical that enhances the flavor of food. Seems pretty good, right? Well, it does make everything taste good when it has MSG in it, which is what monosodium glutamate stands for. The problem is, it gives some people headaches. Some people are allergic to it. Some people, me, some people, I think my daughter, I think my son. So it's something that we have a problem with in my family, so I avoid that stuff and I make my own. To make your own adobo, all adobo is salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. That's it. Sometimes it has a few other things in it, but for the most part, that's it. Okay? Now, so I'm making just a basic adobo. I just put onion powder in it, right? So now this is my garlic powder. And notice I'm not being skimpy. I put a lot in there because this needs a lot of flavor, okay? And now I'm putting some salt in there. Look at that. And now for the last thing I'm putting in is pepper. So that's my ratio right there. Now, I'm making this Italian. So I need to add some basil, because that's an Italian spice. The northern Italians like basil. I'm adding that to my adobo. And then the southern Italians like to use oregano. So I'm gonna put some oregano in it too. You don't have to put both in. You can put in whichever ones you like. Those are the traditional Italian spices. If you buy the Italian spice blend that they have already made for you, then you can, it's usually just a combination of basil and oregano and sometimes a little tiny bit of rosemary, okay? So now I can add my own personal adobo seasoning to this meat mixture. I just turned my heat up a little bit higher. Okay, you can see the meat is starting to brown. Here goes my adobo mixture. I'm putting that right in here. Okay, oh boy, that smells really good. I got a great whiff. Ooh, I love it. Okay, so now my meat is seasoned. My vegetables are cooking. My oven just told me that it's preheated. That was fast. Okay, so now this needs to cook a little bit longer because again, I want to make sure this meat is cooked all the way through before I add that tomato sauce because I'm not letting it cook for a long time. This is quick because I have everything ready for my lasagna. So this is my lasagna noodles. I am going to use them right out of the box. I'm not going to fuss around with boiling them and then using them that way. Forget that action. I want to do this quick and I want to do this great so it tastes good. I'm going to use the dried pasta. It's a special trick that I have. Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm going to start on my ricotta mixture. So before I go any further, I need to make my Italian spice blend because I need to put that into my ricotta cheese. Oh, I forgot to pull out, this is oregano, I forgot to pull out the mozzarella cheese. Silly Mrs. Gay. All right, I'll get on that, don't you worry. It's in my refrigerator right behind me. And my Parmesan, because I like to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to this. I am going to add a tiny little bit of garlic powder because this is Italian. It's probably like a quarter of a teaspoon that I just put in. All right, remove the eggs from the bowl, put your spice mixture in. The next thing you need to put in is your ricotta cheese. So usually I buy a big 30-ounce pack, but for whatever reason I didn't this time and I have 2 smaller packs. Each one is 15 ounces. 15 ounces plus 15 ounces equals 30 ounces, which is the amount that I want to use. So in goes the ricotta cheese. These containers are great. If you clean them, you can reuse them. That way you can save the environment a little bit. Oh my gosh, what is the matter with me today? Holy macaroni. Oh, get it? Macaroni, because it's Italian and macaroni is Italian. Man, oh man, I got the good jokes today. All right, in goes the last bit of ricotta. It doesn't matter that it's 2 separate types because it's all going into the same place. All right, and now the binder. We want this to stick together, so we're going to use 2 eggs, and that's going to hold it all together. The egg will coagulate in the oven, and it will keep it together. All right, so now look over here. My meat is all nice and ground up. So now I can add my tomato sauce. All right, all right, get all that tomato sauce in there, yes. Say yes, please. Now you really smell good. Now I am going to lower my heat again because I want the flavors to marry together now, okay? The dried spices that I put in here now are mixing with the hot stove and the liquid in the sauce, and they are rehydrating, okay? Now I need 1 more spoon to mix up my delicious ricotta cheese mixture. Oopsies. Let's put that right back in there. I know know my counter's clean because I cleaned it. All right. Oh, I gotta get that Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese. Here we go. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put just a bunch of Parmesan in there. Have you ever had 3 cheese lasagna? That's what this is gonna be. Ricotta cheese, Parmesan cheese, and mozzarella cheese. Hey, hey, hey. Look at that. Doesn't it sound better if it's 3 cheese lasagna rather than just plain old lasagna? That's how they get you to make you pay more money. Ooh, I should pay more for my lasagna because it's 3 cheese, not just 1 cheese. Those are the little tricks. All right, so now my mixture is all nice and mixed. I have a big clunk of cheese though, I don't want that. So let me just make sure I don't have any other big clumps. All right, oh, you know what? I forgot the mozzarella. I got the big cheese. Okay, so over here we have the sauce percolating. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this sauce because it's kind of thick. And I do need this sauce to stretch out a little bit. And then I have to taste it to make sure it tastes good. So I'm adding about a half a can of water to this mixture. And this is just gonna like loosen it up a bit. Yep. I'm gonna let this come up to a boil again because believe it or not, the temperature of the food makes a difference in how it tastes. All right, so this will only take a minute to come up. So now I can put my dishes over by my sink because I like to clean as I go. I'm going to recycle this can and rinse it out later. Okay, so that gives me a little bit tidier area to work with. Now I'll get my tasting spoon. And we'll see if I need to adjust the seasonings, if I need more salt or pepper or onion or garlic. So, let's see. Oh man, that is good. Wow. I wasn't expecting it to taste that good. But you know what? I'm gonna put a little more salt in it. And I'll tell you what else I'm gonna do. It's kind of crazy, but I'm gonna do it. This is granulated sugar, okay? The acid from the tomatoes is really strong. Usually when I make a sauce, I cut it with a carrot. Carrots are very sweet. And when it cooks in there, it gives it more nutrition. But I don't have time for that. So I'm gonna add just a small amount of sugar. Look how much sugar I'm putting in. That's like a teaspoon and a half right there. That's all I'm putting in. And that's gonna change the flavor of this sauce. When you go to the store and buy the canned sauces, they all have sugar in them. Because it honestly, and we're talking about food science, it cuts the acid. Okay, so now I just want to do one more quick taste to make sure it's good. And then I can start putting it together. I have a new tasting spoon because I don't want to cross-contaminate. I don't want to reinfect the sauce with my germs. That's what it needed. Wow. And you know what? With that salt, that tiny little bit of sugar, I can taste the garlic more. It's crazy. All right, let's get to putting this together now, okay? So come on over here. I'm gonna leave my sauce simmering while I do this. Turn this way. So because I'm using dried pasta, I wanna make sure when I first put the liquid, I wanna put some tomato sauce in here, but I don't really want the meat. I just want the liquid. I wanna save the meat for when I'm doing my layers of pasta. Okay, so when you're using dried pasta, you should always start with a little bit of the sauce on the bottom of the pan. okay? Then you're going to take your noodles, and it doesn't matter what kind of noodles, right? I'm just gonna put them right down. Ooh, look how great this fits. Oh, wow. I guess they did that on purpose so that it'll fit nicely in a pan. Now I'm gonna take some of my ricotta cheese. Oopsies, I'm making a big mess. That's okay because I'm gonna clean it. Take about a third of the mixture, and I'm gonna put it in here and spread it on out. All right, it's kind of difficult to spread out. Now when it bakes, no, I'm not putting that in yet. I'm not putting mozzarella on till the very end, okay? Now I want to use some of this meat. So again, now when I put this in, I'm going to drain the meat so that it's not the sauce, it's just the meat. Okay? This way it tastes really, really, really good. All right, one more. Okay. Now I'm going to, again, do the next layer, which is going to be more noodles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta-da! And now some more cheese. See how difficult this is? Again, I'm going to use a third of the cheese because we're going to do 3 layers. All right. Oh, the other thing they like to do in restaurants is they call it 7-layer lasagna. Well, so far I have 3 layers. That makes 4, right? 4 or 5? How many layers are we at now? We're at sauce, noodles, cheese, noodles, cheese, and now I'm going to put the sauce. Well, this is meat. It's not really, but still. So we're at 5. Okay. It's another marketing tool that they do. Again, I'm trying to get rid of all of the. All right, that's good. There we go. And now more, so this is here we go for the next layer. 1, 2, 3, and I'm pressing it down. Now this is going to sink as it cooks, just so you know, okay? Now cheese, the last bit of the cheese is going in. All right. Now you will probably make this a little bit prettier than I am. I'm just kind of doing it quick, and I'm not really paying much attention to how it looks right now, because honestly nobody's going to really see it. I'm turning this off now. Now we're going to put a little bit more of this yummy meat on it, and we don't have a heck of a lot, so it's not going to be as much as it was before. That's okay, it still counts as a layer. Okay, there we go. And now we'll do our last, our topper, the noodle topper. This is our last layer of noodles, so I think this is like layer 10. I do still have some lasagna noodles left over. It's okay that I'm not using the whole box. I'm not worried about it, okay? Now I'm gonna put more sauce on top, but this time I'm gonna use just the liquid because I have to cook that top layer. All right, now is the fun. Now we're gonna cover it with mozzarella cheese. Now you should use about 2 cups. Okay, some people think that's too much cheese, not me. The more, the merrier. Now, when I put this in the oven, it's going to take about an hour to cook, okay? But after it comes out of the oven, you should let it sit for about 15 minutes on the counter, cooling off before you try to cut it. And you do that so that way the lasagna can settle down a little bit and the cheeses that are on the inside can kind of cool down and become a little more solid, all right? So now this little bit of sauce that I have left over here, this is gonna go on the table in a little bowl for people who like their lasagna extra saucy, okay? So my oven is nice and hot. Here goes the lasagna, and I'm gonna set my timer for 1 hour. Timer, 60 minutes, start, and I will show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, I'm gonna clean up. Hi everybody, it's ready. Let's look. Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh, it's probably a little overdone, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with crispy cheese. Who doesn't love that? All right, so that's lasagna. I'm gonna let it sit for 15 minutes or so that the cheese and everything can settle down. And I've got my extra sauce in the refrigerator ready for me to heat up to serve with dinner. Alrighty everyone, hope you enjoyed it.